Hi everyone, welcome to my first video on Science of Stretching. Science of Stretching is a course I completed towards the end of 2022, and if you've seen me in my massage clinic, you may have been given some of the Science of Stretching stretches as a bit of homework. I now want to build on some of what I've learnt and share the Science of Stretching with you. I think it's great. I learnt a lot, and it was very different to any kind of stretching that I had ever been given by anybody in the past. If I've been given stretching exercises to do, generally they were a 30-second hold, whereas Science of Stretching, we're holding for 2 minutes and working our way up to 5 minutes incrementally. It's also combined with breath work, and the breath work really is important so that you get the relaxation response, which allows the body to relax down and for the tissue to lengthen and stretch essentially. So I'm going to go through a few things today in this video. I hope that the video is no more than 20 minutes, and hopefully we will get to do a little stretch at the end. But first of all, I just want to explain it to you, so that then as I progress on with the videos, you know the background, and I hope that you find benefit out of doing this, just like I have. So firstly, Science of Stretching is, like I said, it's quite a different program, and it combines breath work, and that breath work is an inhalation through the nose for a count of 4 and an exhalation through the mouth for a slower count of 8. And in a few minutes we will practice a couple of rounds together, but I just want to talk to you first about breathing. So sometimes when we breathe up into our upper chest and up into our shoulders, and what we're supposed to do when we breathe, it's supposed to be a natural thing, but for some reason we don't do it very well. So we want to actually be expanding and contracting using our diaphragm. So if you just place your hand on your chest and your hand on your tummy, just below those ribs there, and just have a feel, take a few breaths, normal breaths in and out, and just see how you breathe. I'll just be quiet for a moment while I check in with my breathing. So I am feeling that I am expanding through my diaphragm, but if you're feeling like you're breathing more upwards, up into your chest, pushing up through to your shoulders, then I'm going to share with you now a little bit of Chapman's reflexes. This is not part of the Science of Stretching that I've done. This is the Chapman's reflex work that I have done over time and the training I've been in. And we have a stimulation point, which is here through our sternum, which will activate our diaphragm. So if you walk your fingers down your collarbone, you'll feel the little notch in your throat there, and then follow down through until you feel just that soft beginning to the top of your abdomen, and where you feel your ribs separate. That's your sternum. We're going to make gentle fists, and with our knuckles we're going to rub through our sternum, and it's going to be a 30 to 40 second rub. So start rubbing. I've got a timer on down here, so I'm going to try and keep my eye on the timer, and we'll go for about 30 seconds, and then we'll recheck in with our breathing. So our breathing is really important, and this is a great technique to wake up and do in the morning. Do a Chapman's reflex stimulation, check in with your breathing, and it's a great way to start the day, get that oxygen-rich blood flowing through the body. Okay, that's roughly about 30 seconds. So check in again with how you're breathing, take a couple of breaths in and out. And hopefully you're feeling your hands expanding and contracting, not rising up and down into the shoulders. So there's something to take away from today, a Chapman's reflex stimulation of your sternum to activate your diaphragm, and breathing will become a lot easier. So while we're talking about breathing, let's talk about Science of Stretching breathing. So like I said before, it's an inhalation for 4 and an exhalation for 8. And how that works is in through the nose for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale through the mouth. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we're going to practice that a couple of times. So in through the nose for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a slower exhale. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now go in your own time, and I'm just going to talk for a moment. Okay, so with that breathing technique, if you're having trouble on the exhale, slowing it down to an exhale of 8, you can try an exhale of 6 and then work on your breathing, and you will find that you will be able to build up to that slower count of 8 on the way out. Okay, so continue in your normal breath for now. So we've just talked about breathing. I want to talk now about any kind of issues that you have with any joints while you're stretching. So if you know that you already have joint issues, whether it be shoulders, hips, knees, joints in the neck, before you do any kind of stretching program or exercise, you should just double check with your GP, or if you're under the care of a physio, have a chat with them to make sure that the stretching program that you're going to do or any exercise that you do is right for you, because everyone's body is different and you don't want to compromise your joints and work through pain. Okay, so if when you're doing any kind of stretches you're feeling pain, if you can point directly into your knee and say, when I do this stretch I feel pain right here, or I feel pain right here in my elbow, then pain is a red flag and you need to stop. Okay, we don't work through pain, and if that is happening or it starts to happen, then you probably need to follow up and get maybe have a chat with your GP and just see whether you've got any underlying pathologies or issues that you weren't aware of. But when we do stretch, we are expected to feel sensation, and the sensation we feel is the connective tissues, the muscles and the fascia. That's what we feel when we stretch, and we can feel like an overall sensation. So if we're stretching the quads, you may feel the sensation to the top of the quads, all the way through the quads, or lower down, but never joint pain. Same with hamstrings. When we're doing hamstring stretches, we want to feel the stretch in the hamstring. Okay, so, and sometimes it can be intense, and with the size of stretches, because of the length of the holds, we can find that the stretch is very intense, and it's really important that you work with that breath, because that's going to allow the body to relax down. It's going to create a relaxation response in the body, and that's when the magic's going to start to happen. That's when the body's going to let go and you're going to start to lengthen and stretch those fibres. Okay, what we don't want to do is stretch ligaments and tendons. So that's why we don't want to feel things in joints. We want to feel things in the actual muscle tissue that we're working on. Okay, there can be tension placed in those areas, especially like when we're doing work for hip flexors and things like that, but generally speaking we don't want to feel pain anywhere, we just want to feel sensation through the muscle tissue. Alright, so we've talked about breathing, and we've done a little talk on what we should feel while we're stretching. What we're going to do now is introduce the warm-up that we do just before we would start doing stretches, and that's something called a moon squat. Now, just before I show you the moon squat, I'll just talk about props, because whilst I do my moon squat, I actually use an extra mat rolled up, because I have never been able to squat down and keep my feet on the floor. My heels rise up. So if you're like me and that happens, you can pop an extra mat under your heels, rolled up towel even, or you can, if you've got a mat, you can roll up the end of your mat and pop that under your heels. Other things we use while we're doing stretching, blocks are great for a bit of support. I've got this table here that does get used in different stretches, like a forward bend. If you can't reach down and touch your toes, you can use this to place your hands on for support. And some people do find that their hamstrings are very tight, and doing a forward bend is quite uncomfortable. So having something like a coffee table at home, dining room chair, any of that kind of stuff you can use. And the good thing about this stool is it can go over on its side, and then as you increase your flexibility, you'll be able to drop it down. You might end up going to a couple of blocks on the side, and then all the way down to the floor. So great little purchase. Thank you, Kmart, for that one. It was very handy to have. Other things we use in Science of Stretching is a strap, like a yoga strap. You can use a belt. And I also have some little chair pads. These are great when we are doing lunges, or I'm sitting down, because my floor is hard, even though I've got the mat here. And when we're sitting in these poses for 2 to 5 minutes, having your ankle joint pinned into the floor can be quite uncomfortable. So it's great to have a bit of extra padding that we can slide in under there. But we also use pillows off the couch, pillows off the bed, nice big cushions, things like that, to prop and hold us, so that when we do these stretches, we can relax into them. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to do a moon squat. So come with me, stand up, and I'm just going to put my heels. So we're going to be a mat width apart, so just a bit wider than your hips if you don't have a mat to judge. And we want our feet out on about a 45-degree angle. And when we squat down, we want our knees going out over those toes, okay? So we're going to reach up, we're going to cross our arms over, we're going to hinge forward at the hip, creating a nice flat back. Then we're going to squat. Then we're going to reach up, arms open wide, look up, cross the arms over the chest, hinge at the hips, squat down, reach up. Okay, so we'll do a few of those for a bit of warm up, and as you get the hang of this, we'll get a little bit quicker. Now I've just noticed my timer has stopped, and it's really important for me to keep that timer going. So you keep going. I'm just going to bend over. You go into your squat. Okay, that's it. Excellent. Couple more, and then we will do a little stretch, and hopefully we'll fit 2 in. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to do a forward fold. So if you do have your coffee table or your chair handy, grab it, and if you cannot reach down to your feet and drop your head, you can start off onto the table, or coffee table or bench, and we want to start our 4-8 breath work. So in for a count of 4 and out for a count of 8 through the mouth. Now, if you can reach a bit further, you can go to option 2. Option 3, if you've got some blocks or a big cushion and you just need a bit of stability, that's where you can put your hands. But like me, I can go down towards the floor, so I'm going to hang here. Okay, and what we want to imagine is our body nice and relaxed. You're doing your breath work in for a count of 4 and exhale for a slow count of 8. And imagine that your body is nice
and soft. And where we want to be feeling this is in our hamstrings, the area here at the back of our legs. If you're feeling a bit more of a pull towards the base of your bottom, on your bony points there, just either straighten out the leg a little bit more or create a soft knee, because we don't want that to be happening. That's an area that we're not wanting to stretch. The stretch is actually for our hamstrings, this area here at the back of the legs. So breathe, relax, keep still. So in for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, do one more round in your own breath. If you feel like you can bring your head a little bit closer towards your knees, now's the time to do that in these last few seconds of this stretch. Now when you've finished your exhale, we're going to slowly roll up, vertebra by vertebra. Walk your hands up to your knees. If you get halfway, maybe just pause for a moment and then slowly walk up, bringing your head up last. Okay, give it a shake. Now, one more little stretch I can show you very quickly is butterfly. So come down onto your bottom. If you've got a block or anything, a rolled up towel or a cushion, I encourage you to pick that up and pop it under your bottom. And then we're going to make some fists, and we're going to count 4 fists, 1, 2, 3, 4, from our groin to our heels, and that's where our heels are to be placed. And then we're going to lean forward and with a flat back, or as flat as we can get it, and walk our hands out as far as they can go, and then turn your hands over so your palms are facing up to the roof. If you have a block or a cushion handy, you can support your head with a block. You can pop the block on your feet, because I'm not that flexible yet that my head reaches past my feet. But it's nice to have some support under the head sometimes. So start your breath work in for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 8, and relax, keeping your body like a wet noodle. If you can feel things relaxing off, and you feel in a moment that you can lower the block, please do so, or take the block away. The idea is for your chest to get closer towards the floor. It's not all about pushing your head to the floor. We want the chest to be coming down, but supporting the head helps that. Okay, or you get rid of it. But remember, walk the arms out in front, palms up, and breathe. Okay, now keep breathing. I'm going to roll myself up, but you're going to stay where you are. Okay, so this is the end of the video for today. Keep breathing. Do that inhale for a count of 4, a slow exhale for a count of 8. In, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I hope you got some benefit out of those couple of stretches that we've managed to fit into the video today, and I hope to see you on the mat again really soon, where I hopefully share with you a few more exercises and we can help each other get a little bit more flexible and get these bodies of ours moving around a little bit more comfortably. Take care and see you in video number 2. Bye everybody.